Hi UNCW, I'm Mikaela Flemings with Port City Spotlight. I'm here in front of Old Books on Front Street in downtown Wilmington. We're going to go inside and sit down with the owner Guinevere to learn more about this incredible bookstore. Thank you so much for having us in today.
Thank you for being here.
I would love to ask, how did Old Books begin?
Okay. It's probably not the story most people expect.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to 1942. Not the store, but the story.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lovely gentleman named Mr. Daughtry, who is still with us, who was in World War II. And it was absolutely the defining experience of his life. He flew airplanes for Patton. He was part of the Battle of the Bulge. He was part of the liberation of Buchenwald. And after the war, he got what we would now call PTSD, but at the time was called battle fatigue. And his stomach wouldn't digest food anymore.
Mm.
It's really, just imagine how traumatic that would be. And he went to a doctor at the VA who was amazingly visionary for the time and who apparently said to him, "Son, the only thing that I know to tell you that will do anything to help you is that you need to take up fishing."
Hmm.
So Mr. Daughtry moved to Wilmington so that he could fish
Mm-hmm.
and that it would calm down his battle fatigue. He got a job at Sears Roebuck selling appliances, and he got married, and he had children, and he had a wonderful life. And then when he retired from Sears Roebuck, he realized he was bored, really bored, and that he could only, landscape for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So he started the bookstore so that he would have a place to go every day, and he would have people to talk to, and he would have a project to work on. So really it was Mr. Daughtry's way of holding court. It opened sometime between 11 and 11:30 in the morning. It closed somewhere around 4:30 in the afternoon.
What's it been like becoming the owner and working here?
It is simultaneously one of the most wonderful and amazing things and one of the most frightening things.
Mm.
Can you
Yeah.
fathom that?
Yeah.
I have a very clear memory about 2 weeks after we took over the retail side of the business, sitting on the floor of our old location and just looking around me and going, if I don't mess this up, I could actually really do this for the rest of my life, and wouldn't I be so lucky?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a pretty amazing feeling. The bookstore was not really a functional business when we took it over.
Mm-hmm.
There was no method to the madness of how the books were laid out. Nobody had any idea where anything was. There was no real pricing structure. And so, we really spent a lot of time organizing. About the time I finally got the bookstore organized, like all the fiction together in alphabetical and all of the nonfiction categorized, and we had some idea of where everything was, the building got condemned and we had to move. It was kind of like, oh man, I just got here. And so that was a game changer. So we really sort of moved the business into the 21st century, and then with a mindset that was still actually a very sort of 1950s mindset, if we're very honest. We're a small family. We were a small family business. My mother died very unexpectedly in 2009, and it was sort of a surprising thing in a lot of ways, but one of them was that she did all of the paperwork. I had no idea what the password was for any of the bank accounts or even how to get into QuickBooks. So at one point I just had to walk into the North Carolina Department of Revenue with a laptop and say, I have no idea how to get into this. I know I owe you money and I don't even know how much. I need help.
I want to pay you.
I am trying, but I don't know what to do. And they were like, okay, well, we have a procedure for this. Of course you do. Of course you have a form for me to fill out. And then in 2010, the Great Crisis happened very shortly after my mother's death, which is the building got condemned that we had been in. And if you can imagine moving 150,000 books with no notice, it's a pretty insane experience. We had no idea where we were going to go, and I wound up renting the basement of the building that now houses the Arts Council 2 doors down. And we sent out an email and said, on this upcoming Saturday, if we're going to try to move into the basement. The whole route is ramped. If you will bring a little red wagon or a push cart, we will load it and we will unload it if you will just walk it 2 blocks. 10 minutes. We would really appreciate any help that you might offer. I figured if we started at 8 and we went till dark, we might get a quarter to a third of the building empty. Maybe 20 people would show up to help. We had over 300 people show up. And by 4 o'clock, the entire building was empty. The only thing that was left were the security mirrors and the front desk. And the bar across the street was buying everybody beer to tell them thank you for helping us. And I was useless. I was totally useless. All I did was walk around and cry and thank people.
I want to thank you so much for having me in today and
thank
talking
you
to
for
me
coming
about
by.
this. Thank you so much. The 3rd annual Cape Fear Beard and Mustache Competition is coming to Front Street Brewery in downtown Wilmington on Saturday, February 6th at 8 p.m. All proceeds will go towards US2 International's local prostate cancer awareness and support group. The evening will consist of crazy beards and out-of-this-world stashes, along with drinks, raffles, and prizes. If you're feeling artsy, go to Thalian this weekend to see Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman, or go to Cape Fear Playhouse to see Neil Simon's The Odd Couple. If you'd rather leave the audience and take your spot on the stage, Thalian Association is hosting auditions for Green Day the Musical. This weekend, come prepared to sing, dance, and rock and roll. If you enjoy dancing and see yourself developing a future in this art, then you have to check out the Emerging Choreographers Showcase. This Sunday at 3 p.m., the Cameron Art Museum is hosting a mentoring program where aspiring choreographers can develop an original work of dance. Boogie, tap, plie, and cha-cha your way to this amazing opportunity. Admission ranges from $5 to $8. This Sunday, the Cameron Art Museum will showcase the work of Cuban-American postmodern artist Jose Bernal. The exhibit, entitled Obra de Arte, features works from 11 different museums, private collections, and private pieces provided by the Bernal family. Admission is only $5 for students. So if you're in need of a quiet afternoon of colors and culture, you know where to go. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Until next week, I'm Mikaela Fleming, and this has been Port City Spotlight, spotting the life in your city.